Hi, it's math time with Mrs. Depperschmidt. I'm wearing my feathery hat tonight because I'm so excited to talk about fractions again. Tonight I want to explain some things about fractions to make it more friendly to everybody. And as we learn to add and subtract with fractions, these ideas will be very important. First of all, we need to understand what unit fractions are. We know that unit means one, and that's no different with unit fractions. With a unit fraction, we have 1 in the numerator, just like this. You can see I have drawn 4 examples of unit fractions for us to work with here. 1/3, 1/8, 1/17, and 1/2. Does not matter how many parts the whole is cut into. If there's only one of those parts that we'll be working with, it's called a unit fraction because it's only one part. Some examples of non-unit fractions are these: 6/8, 9/14, 2/3, and 4/5. All of those talk about more than one part. The 6/8 is referring to 6 parts out of 8 altogether. 9/14 is 9 parts when the whole is cut into 14. 2/3 is 2 parts of a whole that's cut into thirds. And 4/5 is 4 parts of a whole that's cut into 5. Those are some examples of non-unit fractions. It's important to remember those as we continue our work with fractions. When we have unit fractions, we can put them in order and compare their values like this. 1/2 is a little bit more than 1/3, and 1/3 is more than 1/4. 1/4 is more than 1/5, and so on until infinity. You can keep counting as the denominator is growing into a bigger and bigger number. The parts are getting tinier because in order to have lots of parts, the whole is cut smaller and smaller and smaller. So remember that the bigger the number on the denominator, the tinier one part will be. 1/2 is actually quite a lot compared to 1/26. Another thing to remember is that like fractions, the ones that have the same kind of denominator, like 2/5, 4/5, and 1/5, have wholes that are divided into the same number of parts. In this example, all of our bars are divided into 5 equal parts. Those are the fifths. So these are like fractions. Doesn't matter how many pieces we're talking about, but the whole is always cut into fifths. And I'm going to shade some sections to show which parts we're talking about. In the first one, we're talking about 2/5, so that would be 2 of these parts. Next, we're talking about 4/5, and it doesn't matter which parts we color, they don't need to be in order. I've colored 4/5 in the middle, and on the bottom I'll color 1/5. These are called like fractions, not because they all mean the same amount, but because they're all talking about parts of something that's cut into fifths, or 5 pieces. That's what makes fractions be alike. It's all about their denominator, the number on the bottom. One thing that's nice to know about like fractions is that they are the only kind that can be added and subtracted. Unlike fractions cannot be added and subtracted. I like to think about these as something other than parts of a whole. If you'd like to say 6/7 and 4/7, we can imagine, put a different word in here. We can say 6 basketballs and we take away 4 basketballs. It's easy to do that subtraction problem. If we just think of the fraction parts as a little bit different thing. It's a piece, and it's a certain size of a piece because the whole thing is cut into sevenths. Likewise, when we have 3/7 and we put 2/7 with it, we can actually calculate that like a regular addition problem. 6/7 take away 4/7 is 2/7. We're still working in sevenths, so nothing goes on with the denominator, but we do 6 minus 4 just like we've always done, and we have 2 of those pieces left over. 6 pieces of this size, and 4 of those pieces disappear somehow, then there are only 2 pieces left. Likewise, if we start with 3 pieces and we get 2 more pieces, we add those all together and we have 5 pieces that are of equal size from the whole that was cut into sevenths. So it's important to remember that you can only add and subtract when fractions have the same denominator, when there's something that's cut into the same size pieces. I know you're going to get really comfortable with fractions because we will keep practicing until we have it. So enjoy your work. Have a great time at home. I'll see you at school. And remember, please be kind.